Hey guys, some of my main positions are on the move, so it's time again to speak about NIO, Sap Health, as well as Shinlei, Axnet, and a little bit about Bitcoin. But first, as promised, I have published my Investing in Autonomous Driving piece on Patreon. So this is about NIO strategy, about autonomous driving, but also covering Tesla in China and Baidu. And it's really a long, thorough piece, so quite a bit of time went into it. And I'm going to make sure to keep it also covered here on the channel, of course. And there's even more to it, far exceeding what I have written down in that piece. But anyways, if you want to help out the channel, or if you want to get a first insight, please consider becoming a patron, because that really helps us to do this kind of, in-depth research work that we are doing around all of our major positions. And so now it's time to speak about why is Sap on the move, why is Xunlei on the move, and I'm also happy to see Bitcoin doing a bit of a bounce today. But first off, start with our favorite stock, NIO. And it's really good to see NIO doing quite well, finally bouncing off the lows, and it's now up almost 55%. I don't want to jinx it anymore, but anyway, the important piece here that it is up on this really long-term, uptrend here. So this is when it closed finally last Friday above that. And today it's even taken out, it seems, the $46 and 30 cents roundabout, which was a previous high here, and it's taken out that one again. So it seems like we might be able to go up to the $50 quite soonish, and I'm expecting that if we manage to close above this thick blue line here, that this could become once again the new kind of support zone, in which if NIO is doing some corrections in the future, it should keep on bouncing off this line for some time, hopefully. So that's so far for reading kind of, the technical chart there. But of course, the technicals are just one piece. The other side is what's happening on the fundamentals. We have some news around NIO possibly entering Germany. And well, I think this is just a rumor as far as I can see it. It obviously makes a lot of sense for NIO to enter the German market. NIO has quite a bit of presence there. I talked about Hui Zhang, like the MD, and also a VP of Europe, who's based in Munich. And that's also well prepared, I would say, for a market entrance. But, all of the rumors about a possible market entry of NIO in Germany so far, I think, are not rooted in any official news. This is just speculation. But if you ask me, yes, it's very likely that this is going to happen right after the NIO entrance in the Norwegian market. So I would say they possibly gonna wait for, let's see, half a year, see how it goes in Norway, and then I would say, Germany should be one of the next markets to enter. So I wouldn't hype this news up too much, to be honest, but certainly there's lots of credibility to it. Another use, which I previously covered actually in my NIO What is Project Gemini video, is that, if you listen closely, that the NIO Park, which I have some footage here for you, which is actually the official footage that I've showed in the introduction in China, but now I've gotten hands on this footage there, which is, looking really nice in those renderings here. And Li Bin, in a previous interview, he now also kind of supports the views that this could be actually finished in production in Q3 next year. So this is kind of adding on top of the speech by the VP of NIO, who before Li Bin already went out and said, the construction work of this NIO Park is going on. And so yes, it's quite likely that next year we see the buildings finished to some certain aspect there, and currently they have finished already the groundwork, and now they're starting possibly to prepare already the first buildings there. Now back to Sap Health, which I have kept on covering here on the channel, and I also keeping my position. I mentioned before that I am having a cost basis here around $11. Please excuse this messy chart, but I'm not gonna change it because in some of my recent videos I started pointing out this kind of seasonal pattern where we see that we have May lows and then some bounces towards July, and then usually another big spike towards February and January. So this pattern seems to go really like clockwork now. We are now beyond $11 and 15 cents here, which is quite an important level, because previously when we went beyond this level, usually those spikes have actually started in a quite rapid fashion, and it should also work hopefully on a way down as another support level if this pattern really continues like that and going into that into maybe towards the end of July. But once again, this is just reading some charts, and this could be entirely wrong. On the fundamental side, what we are seeing is Apple announcing the broadening of the product portfolio for wearables, so new types of Apple Watches, obviously updating their flagship, but are now also considering to introducing less costly models and new health functions. So the competition here is kind of heating up, and we also see Facebook bringing out their own wearable, and if you believe the research of ARK Invest, then Facebook may actually use wearables for kind of steering AR functionalities, for instance navigating, pushing a button and so on in the AR world. So kind of a new functionality here introduced for a very long-term trend towards augmented reality. And that, in essence, I think should give more focus on the wearables field. Those big tech companies entering or expanding into this field should actually be kind of positive news for Sap Health, in my view. Because obviously, if you look into this area, then you cannot ignore what Sap is doing. They are having big market shares in mostly the emerging markets and China, obviously, but also in some of the Western markets like Spain, for instance. And so, of course, there is a question mark whether or not Sap may be able to compete with those companies in terms of the product, the quality of it, and also introducing such new technologies. But certainly they are one of the players in the field. And Sap is also building on top, once again, more business models, for instance, around insurance, which they should have a data advantage because they're selling more watches than anybody. And on the other hand, industrial, medical, where they also go into maybe even producing devices similar to what we see from Butterfly, so another ARK Invest company there. So in general, I don't think that this current stock price movement is too much related to that news, but it certainly should help, and mostly might be coming from this seasonality pattern here, which I'm, just monitoring closely. I don't know whether or not it's going to be unfolding like I'm imagining here, but on the fundamental side, it can only be good if wearables becoming more in focus of investors, and then hopefully not only being perceived as manufacturing and devices sold to consumers, but also around those other business models that are on the software side, on the data side, and so on. Then there's also my investment in Shinlei or XNET, which recently broke through this very big downtrend here. I think it's sold off more than 50%. It's a very volatile company, up to 65% it went down. But now, it just crossed this downward trend line, and now also found some support here around $4.90, and today is having a good spike. Maybe it needs to break beyond the $5.70 in order to have a sustained run upwards from here, but I'm expecting actually that this could at least move sidewards from here. And regarding this company, I have to say that yes, I invested more in it. It has become just more than a pure speculative play because it was selling off so much. I was doubling down because my initial position was quite small, and now it's getting actually to a big size in my portfolio as my patron supporters now. And I'm currently working on lots of due diligence, really deep research on this company, because obviously that's how it works. When I get more conviction about the company, and also when I'm more invested in it, then I certainly need to do more background checking whether or not I'm right on my thesis here. And so right now I'm mostly publishing that sort of due diligence on the go, on the fly, in the Patreon network, but certainly gonna publish it as a couple of new videos here. And so far I think I'm quite confident on the valuation and how it compares in the market, and that the opportunity is there in the areas that I'm seeing in different areas like blockchain, of course, which by the way is very well supported by the Chinese government. Quite to the contrary to what's going on with the cryptocurrencies and the ban on Bitcoin and stuff like that. So blockchain remains untouched from that, and Shinlei is one of the players in that field. But then there's also advertisement, which also links to blockchain in some sort. There's live streaming. And the biggest area for Xunlei is actually cloud computing, edge computing. And there I'm doing more research. How much business fundamentals does it have, and what can be actually their strategic niche there? Because it's obviously a smaller niche player there. And there are bigger fishes in this pond like Tencent, Alibaba Cloud, and so on, Baidu. But certainly I do see an opportunity there. But on the other hand, it's also a little bit too early still in order to finalize this research. And then last but not least, a significant position of my portfolio, which also now found back into this kind of long-term uptrend here. If you can see with this big green candle, we're now trading above that. But certainly Bitcoin, of course, is very volatile. I could imagine it will be trading between 30K and 40K. So I'm not betting on that this can actually hold into this uptrend for now, but certainly I'm not willing to sell any of my Bitcoin in a very foreseeable future. As I've mentioned in my video about the crypto ban in China and the troubles going on there, as well as on the side of the ESG, like environmental concerns around Bitcoin, I think these topics still need to be digested somewhat. I guess on the China side, I'm more confident that this is actually kind of already solved in terms of it was always clear to me that China is against the cryptocurrencies, but still supporting the blockchain itself. And on the other hand, the mining infrastructure may have to move now out of China, but that actually should also be good for this decentralized currency. And then on the other hand, with now Elon Musk tweeting that Tesla may go back on accepting Bitcoin once 50% of the miners are using renewables and the trend is positive. I think that is now pointing more towards a solution-oriented way of dealing with all of this Bitcoin fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And maybe it will settle down. We also have Latin America coming in with El Salvador and supporting Bitcoin as a currency publicly, and also offering crypto entrepreneurs to come over and get a residency for free, and also using volcanoes to mine Bitcoin, using the power of the volcanoes, the unused power, and so on. So quite interesting stuff going on there. But personally, I still think that there needs to go more work and thinking into how Bitcoin, the infrastructure, can be more sustainable on the energy side as well. And I'm still hoping for an announcement maybe by Elon Musk about Teslas can being used for Bitcoin mining, the solar power, the Tesla battery packs, and so on, possibly forming a system in which all of this comes together for a more sustainable future, and then also Tesla as well as Bitcoin being a player in that. So that's quite interesting. And then also finishing here on a final note, I think Tesla is looking quite interesting from the chart right now, because we had lots of bad news around Tesla in China, uncertainty around the deliveries in China, and I mentioned how I thought that the numbers aren't actually too bad, actually quite solid to be honest. And Tesla hasn't moved up as much as, for instance, NIO, which is up 50% in the recent weeks. Tesla is only up 10%, so there might be some catch up for Tesla to do within the next couple of days and weeks, in terms of that the market's overall sticking to a rotation back into growth and tech that we are currently kind of seeing as the inflation fear is kind of calming down a little bit. So that's it for now, covering a couple of positions. The next videos will be more publishing my research and fundamentals on the companies again, but that was now for a quick update on some of these major positions. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please smash a like button, and then see you in the next one.